Right, let's talk lemon trees. This is one I bought a couple of years ago, and unfortunately it's not doing too well at the moment. You'll see this kind of sticky, shiny residue on the leaf. That is honeydew, and it is caused by the fact that the plant picked up scale, which are these little brown dots you can see on the leaf here. It's a little bug, and I found that all over the leaves and the stems a few months ago, so I've been treating it by squishing them when I see them between my fingers and by washing down the leaves with just water and a small amount of dish soap. This will get a bit of the scale that I can't see because it's not always as clear as those brown ones I just showed you, and also removing the honeydew so it doesn't get sooty mildew or the black powdery mildew on the leaves, which is really not good for the plant, and it helps the leaves breathe. Obviously, the fact that I'm cleaning them, the honeydew clogging them up, basically. This was quite a bad infestation on this branch here, so I now also go around and wash down all the branches with that same solution of water and dish soap. And this here is that stem I showed you a couple of seconds ago. It's cleared up. Keep an eye on these little V's as well where the branches separate. I found they like to hide in those little areas. So after the last few months of every couple of days or so going around squishing them and washing the leaves, it's starting to look better. This is the old growth. There's a little bit of damage on them, but there's plenty of new, so I'm quite happy with that. And it flowered beautifully while it was outside last year and has also produced some flowers inside. So I'm happy with the way it's going. Something else I might try is neem oil, which you mix with water and again a tiny little bit of dish soap as an emulsifier, and spray that all over the leaves. It's a natural way of helping to stop the scale. I really don't want to be using pesticides. And I'm also going to take this opportunity to pot on the tree while I'm at it today. So it's still in this pretty horrible yellow plastic pot that I bought it in. So I've got myself a nice glazed terracotta pot around about 2 inches in diameter, bigger than the pot that it's been in. Now, as I've pulled it out here, I'm seeing that the root ball is quite tight and there's some larger roots going around in circles, wrapping themselves around the root ball. So what I'm going to do is remove the top of the old compost down to the top of the root ball, and I'm going to take a little bit of time to just go around the whole ball and rough up the fibrous roots a little bit and tease out those thicker roots that are circling around. Because when I put it into the new pot, I want them to get out into the new compost and not just keep going round and round and round in circles. So I'll check the whole thing around the sides and the underneath and just rough it all up a little bit. Now, when I'm done with that, I'm going to pop this to one side and I'm going to reuse the compost that's come off of it. So there's nothing wrong with it. It's perfectly good compost. It just obviously isn't feeding the plant as well as the new stuff will. So I'm just going to mix that in with the compost that I am going to use, which is a multi-purpose compost that I've just sieved, and I've added in quite a good bit of perlite to it to help with the drainage. So I'll just give that a good mix up here now, and I'm going to pop that in the bottom, fill in the pot to the desired depth so that when I put the tree back in, it's around about 1 inch from the top of the pot. So there we go. I'm happy with the depth. Just kind of level it all up, make sure the trunk is in the middle of the pot. And then I'm going to take my mix and backfill around the edges of the root ball. Now, I have used perlite in with my compost for drainage, but you could use vermiculite, you could use grit, you could pop in a little bit of sand, you could use a mix of them. So, yeah, it's up to you, but it's perlite is what I had, so that's what I've used just to help with the drainage. Now, as I backfill this, I'm not really packing in the compost because drainage is important and I don't want it to be too tight. Now I've got the edges all filled. I'm just going to put the last little bit in here, firm it in with my fingers, and then spend far too much time messing around at the top of the pot trying to make things look pretty. This is really not something you need to be doing. So the next thing is to give it a good drink of water. You can give it a good amount of water, just don't do it too often. They don't like to be waterlogged. And then what I'm going to do here is just show you what I'll be doing over the next couple of years will be to remove the top inch or so of soil and just add some fresh, and I'll be feeding it as well. It won't need anything more than that until I go on to the next pot in a couple of years' time. And there we are, it's all done. And I am happy with that, and I think the tree looks much better in a pot of that size, and it will stand there happily until it's time to move on to the next pot.